Does anybody have the cord to plug this guitar in? Does it get piped in the same as a mic or what?
It probably could. We should probably look into that. All right, we're going to continue with our post-race media availabilities. We've now been joined by our race winner, Ross Chastain, driver of the number 1 Chevrolet for Trackhouse Racing here in today's Ally 400. Ross, first of all, congratulations on that win. You spent some time with us on Friday, I think twice, or I should say Saturday twice. On Saturday, you said your team was strong. You said your car had speed, and tonight you guys backed it up.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah. I've felt the speed. I've felt the grip. It's just this or that happens, and we don't win. But I felt it again on Friday. Obviously, felt it on Saturday. For me to tie together 2 laps. 1 lap, okay, I could probably do that sometimes. But the second round lap, to not overdrive it, to back up and go a few thousandths faster, is a testament to the changes they made between round 1 and round 2 for qualifying, and then our evolution and our process is paying off of this new car. It's so different than anything that I've ever driven, and learning it since the first time I drove it, I guess, in 2021 at a test, to now, to finally get an oval win on a circle track is absolutely incredible.
All right, we're now going to go to questions. If you have one, raise your hand. I'll work to get a mic to you. We're going to start with Jordan.
Jordan Bianchi, The Athletic. In light of everything in recent weeks since Darlington, does this feel like a statement win in some respects?
Did you see the 2 cars we passed? Felt pretty good. Look, I first met Martin Truex Jr. at a Bass Pro Shops in Fort Myers, Florida when our local one opened, and he signed a Chevy Trucks hat for me, and I still have it on my childhood bedroom wall hanging up. The Sharpie is about faded off, but it's still barely there, and it's a hero. He was an idol of mine, and then to go to battle against him and then have criticism from him and go back and forth, and him to air block me at Dover like he did when I thought we were just as fast there was humbling, and to go up against my heroes like that, and now to beat him tonight, to drive by him in the 11 was definitely a statement, was definitely felt good, and I'm proud that we were able to do that.
What has been the message to your team, not them to you, but you to them in the last 4 or 5 weeks, in light of everything?
Yeah, I'm not a big vocal rah guy. I'm not telling them anything that they don't already know. I think they see me going to work and just going through the processes that Trackhouse has in place for me, that GM and the WISE program has in place for me, WISE Performance. They see me, they hear me going through business with MMI and what I'm trying to do outside of the race car, and they know that I'm all in, and I don't have to tell them that. I don't have to tell them we're going to be okay, guys. Like, we just look at each other, nod our heads, and go about our business. And my car chief, David Farrow, is big on positive affirmations and surrounding our minds with good thoughts about how we can be better. And I am too. I read books that show me and teach me little ways to kind of bring it all back down. Getting to neutral is something I've talked about before. So they see me doing that, and they know that I'm all in, and I'm going to make mistakes, and they're okay with that. They tell me that, and I know that I have the best team on pit road, and I have the best team building my race cars, and we just kind of go about our business.
All right, we'll go to Chris Knight up here.
Chris Knight, CatchNets.com. You called your shot walking out of here on Saturday afternoon. What made you realize that you could get it done start to finish?
Yeah, nobody was actually supposed to really know that. That was kind of off the shoulder, just kind of in passing of the guitars, I didn't really put too much thought into it. The words went out, and I read the tweet whenever, I guess, this morning, and I thought, ooh, that is a little too confident, a little too cocky for my taste. So I told myself to not do that again, to just keep those thoughts internal, use them for fuel and fire, but I don't need to say that kind of stuff. And so I'm really glad it worked out. Let's just put it that way. because it was just an off the, not. I look at I look at a lot of y'all in here as just, when I'm on the microphone, obviously I know the world's watching. When we're walking out, we're talking just amongst, whether I'm turning the lights off in the bathroom on one of y'all or something. It's just friendly. And so for that to go out, it was kind of a reminder of, oh boy, like they're doing their job, right? What I do on the track is seen by the world. What I say around anybody in here is their job to tell the world because no one else can hear it. So I'm glad that it got out. I'm glad that it worked out, but I don't like saying that kind of stuff, but I'm sure glad that it worked out, and I am glad that I said it.
All right, our next question will go to Matt Weaver.
Matt Weaver, Sports Not. Over. I think anyone who watched the whole race could argue that you guys had the best car, won the pole fast in practice. But Martin did start to gain on you there with about 25 to go. We always talk about dirty air. Is there kind of a balance between hitting your marks, especially in dirty air yourself? You're going through lap traffic, making sure you don't overshoot the corner while also kind of looking out behind you and doing all the things you have to do to keep the car behind you. What is that kind of balancing act like?
It is. We had the lead early, obviously, with the pole, and then we got passed pretty quickly, and then Martin and William were really fast, and they were ahead of us. Tyler was ahead of us. Tyler had his issues, so there was kind of three of us, I thought, and I knew there would be one more that would come up there and race, and it was the 11. As we went into as the sun went down, I was fast enough to catch the 11 and 19 for the end of stage 2, but I couldn't get by him. Martin air blocked me all over the track, and I'm like, all right, well, try to get him in stage 3. Was clearly faster, and then stage 3 fired off. We all singled out. I had a shot at Martin for a few laps. He got by me, and he actually waved and gave me the peace sign when he cleared me early in stage 3. And I thought, okay, so he's not mad at me, okay. And then the sun went down, and our Worldwide Express Chevy came to life. It was literally they call it light switch. It was like I flipped the switch and I got more grip, filled the grip bottle up, and from there I was able to drive by the 19 and the 11 before the pit stops, which I think was key. They put up a fight, but they let me race them. They didn't just air block like they did at the end of stage 2, like Martin did, and like he did at Dover, and I feel like I've helped move the needle and teach some of these guys on track. So he let it just naturally play out, and the 11 did as well. And then when he got to me at the end, I air blocked him back, and then we got the gap, and I was loose for sure, and I think he was, I don't know what he was, but I got loose. The final set of tires started off looser than the previous set, and just kind of hanging on there at the end.
Are you and Hocevar going to start a band now with the guitars?
That'd be a bad band if we did. Nobody would want to hear that. Look, we drive the cars. We won the race. We can hire some talent to come play our guitars for us. I guess you plug this one in. I don't know nothing about music, but Riverhouse does, and Grant and the boys and girls over there can play us a tune tonight.
But to that point, though, it was a really good weekend for MMI, right, and the family there. You've done a lot of work with Phil, too, on Carson and just trying to clean some things up there, too. He's winning with regularity a little bit now, running up front. What are you seeing out of Carson here the last couple of weeks and months towards the goals that you guys have set for him on track and off track?
Yeah, I mean, we're in a small capacity with Carson, but it is about managing the at-track stuff and just trying to manage his kind of larger-than-life, pun intended, for his height, his larger-than-life kind of personality that carries him outside of the race truck and race car. I see a lot of myself in him. I see incredible speed and talent, and I know the trucks that he's driving at Nice Motorsports with Phil Surgeon and that group with Al Nice, and to have Worldwide Express sweep the truck race, get the pole for the cup race, and win the cup race, it's absolutely incredible to be sitting here watching that confetti fly around outside the door, knowing that was shot off for us. I was just so proud of the effort of Nice Motorsports on Friday night, and to see Carson keep growing. I'm growing as well. So when we talk, we're not all that different. We're just at different levels and different ages and different chapters of our life, but we're kind of fighting the same things, and we make mistakes when we're really fast, and we should probably just let it play out. And we've both, I've been open with him that the things he needs to improve on are the same things I'm trying to improve on. So as I'm looking at him at 30 years old and he's so much younger, we're fighting the same battles, and internally we're trying to mentally get through all this. with a lot of criticism on us, and he's had a lot, and I've been one of them. I criticized him when I thought he needed it, and I thought I explained my view of it, we've seen obviously a 2.0 version of him, and I'm working to get to, maybe I'm at 1.8, but we're going to get to 2.0 here, as I keep evolving.
All right, we'll go to Stephen Margero. Go ahead, bud. Oh, sorry. Okay, we'll take you both. All good.
Stephen Toronto, CBS Sports. Ross, I asked Phil this same question. I want to go back to this race 2 years ago. You were running third, I think it was, before the last caution. And Phil called you down and brought you to pit road. And I believe you said afterwards that you would kind of question that call. Why? We just took ourselves out of a top 5 run. As it turns out, Phil was right. That race ran green to the end. You finished second. So now that you've reached this point with Phil and you guys have accomplished all that you have together now, how pivotal do you think that race was to developing the level of trust that you've built with him?
Yeah, some people might think that our radio is too quiet, and it's days like that and moments like that that are the cause, because I describe the car, and that's all I do. I describe the track, the car, what I'm feeling, what I need. And sometimes it's not enough communication, and they're learning to poke me more because I'm just driving the car. There were times tonight where we were leading there at the end. After the final pit stop, I thought Martin was catching me. I thought I needed another half a tenth of speed. And I drove in turn 3 about 30 feet deeper, and I didn't make the corner. And I thought, well, don't drive into. And the whole time, I could have been explaining the car maybe. I could have been in a better headspace, but I'm just driving. I'm trying to find every bit of hundredth of a second to manage my gap and go fast. And I've learned that my boys and girls at Trackhouse and on the one car, they're the smartest that I could possibly ask for, and I let them do their jobs, and they let me do mine. So like we talked about earlier, I'm not a rah guy. I don't psych them up. They don't psych me up. We joke. Our hauler is one of the most laid back I've ever been a part of, pit crew and road crew, and we just kind of go about our business. So I learned a lot that day, and I matured. That was half a season into my first Cup season, and in Xfinity, in the 4 car, I would kind of learn from Landon Castle, kind of quarterback the car from there. And we need to pit, we need to stay out, we need to wave around, we need to take scuff tires now because we need to save our stickers for later. And it's not the case when you get to the Cup Series. You need to let the smart boys and girls make those calls.
And I feel like, Phil kind of goes under the radar when you talk about big names among crew chiefs like Childers, Wolf, Small, etc. Do you feel like Phil still doesn't get enough recognition or respect as being among the top crew chiefs in the garage area?
I think in the garage they know how fast his cars are. He's been a journeyman of sorts, a lot way longer than me, but he's been through teams and worked his way up from not being a crew chief to being a crew chief in the Cup Series and winning races now. And this it didn't just happen overnight. So the people in the garage know Phil Surgeon. I'll be honest, whenever they said he was going to crew chief the 42 Cup car, and when Kenseth was driving it, when Matt was driving it, I didn't know who Phil Surgeon was. And I thought tuned in on the 1 and 42 as I was not driving in the building, but I was at CGR, and I had to ask who is Phil Surgeon. And I felt really silly saying that at the time. And I'd been around him. I just didn't know the name. I didn't know the face with the name. So I knew the face, but I didn't know the name. So I love it. I love that he just goes about his business. He's not flashy. I've learned to embrace the fandom and the front facing of Trackhouse and NASCAR that I've been fortunate to be given. I'm proud to be one of the faces on the broadcast when they put five racers up there on the football coverage or baseball or talking about the next race, and I'm one of the 5. I'm proud to be that guy, one of those 5. But I'm more like Phil than I am, a rah guy. I don't really put myself out there. I got people that can do that for me.
Thanks, Ross. I'll hand on to Stephen now.
Okay, Stephen Stump of FrontStretch.com. Ross, from your win at Talladega to you taking the checkered flag at Nashville, you led 983 laps in the Cup Series. Obviously, you said you made a statement when you won the pole, passed two really good cars at the end, led the most laps. But how important is this win, knowing how close you guys have been to winning in the last 42 races?
Well, it's bigger than anything. It's an oval. It's circle track. You have to lift and slide and hit the gas and brake and turn the wheel. So my boys and girls on the one team have not let me forget that, and they have been kind of pushing me on that. Like, we'll take you serious when you win on an oval track. They've won races. This one team before Trackhouse and I were a part of it was very different iterations, but they were winning races in the Cup Series. So they'd been here and done it, and they wanted to see me do it on a true oval. Yeah, I don't know anything else other than that. I think about them and our conversations and how much work we put into it, and they put into me to make me better on these kind of tracks.
Thank you.
Yep.
All right, let's go to Mark Garrow and then to Larry Woody.
Mark Garrow, PRN, congratulations. From our view of the race, and I know throughout the race there's little mistakes that you guys always make. There's no dead letter perfect race. But overall, big picture, do you feel like you drove the perfect race? Aggressive when you needed to be, patience when you needed to be, and just plain getting after it when you had to?
Never perfect, like you said. There's lots of mistakes. When the sun went down, I had slipped off turn 2 several times early in the race and lifted and slid and about spun out. And when the sun went down, it happened again. And it was the first time that Brandon McReynolds, my spotter, said, "Easy, take care of your stuff here." Because when I lifted, the fire shot out the left side exhaust from the fuel burn dumping out. And in the daylight, you can't really see it from that far away. And as soon as he said, "Easy, take care of your stuff," I thought, the fire is telling on me. I'm sliding over here, and now he knows it. So there's lots of mistakes. I thought I could have got by the 42 early in the race better. I could have passed Martin on the final restart better, or I could have gotten that done. I didn't. Other than that, though, there was a point in the race when I was running like 5th after Tyler had his issue and spun with the tire, whatever was coming off with the right rear, and we were like 5th, and I thought, well, the 19's better, the 24's better, and I kind of had a moment where I thought that, and then I thought, well, it doesn't matter. I don't care if they are better. What do I need to do next? And the next thing is warm my tires. The next thing is get a good restart. Drive in turn 1. I'm 4th in line for the choose. I chose 3rd for second row inside. Get clear of the outside guy. Hopefully roll up to the next guy. And I did that, and I thought, what's next? All right, try to get – nope, didn't get clear of the 19. So the moments that I questioned it, and it was a self-talk. I have a lot of conversations in my head. Try not to push the radio when I'm talking back to those voices, but I need to speak about it in my head and have real dialogue. And I talked myself right back into just go get a good restart and let's figure it out from there. And then the sun went down, and after that, it was pretty darn good. There wasn't many things that I would do different now.
3 wide, 3 laps. Can you talk about that and the idea of maybe banking some credit? You talked about Truex and Hamlin, the issues you've had. They obviously started to cut you a little bit of slack at the end of the race. Do you feel like you bank a little credit? Hey, I was still racing hard, but we didn't wreck. I didn't overstep. And do you feel like those moments will help you long term?
For sure. Yeah, I thought that me and Williams lined up on the front row, and I thought he chased me up a little too much in the moment. I haven't watched the replay, but to me, he was worried about me, and the 19 in turn 1 drove underneath both of us. And then after that, he chased me up off of 4, and the 19 cleared both of us, and we were still side by side. And I thought, dang, Will, like, you let the guy in 3rd drive by both of us. So 1911 specifically, yes. There were times that they passed me. The 11 got by us on the strategy of the caution, but when I got back to him, he raced me great. 19 did as well, and that's all I asked for. At the end of stage 2, when the points were on the line, 19 ran me all over the track. I wasn't going to pass that 19, no matter how fast I was. Luckily, we were fast right after that, able to drive by him after maybe 30 laps, and then the 11 a little bit later. I feel like if we'd have pitted again, the final pit stop, and ran to the end and tried to pass him late, I don't think I'd have got the same courtesy. So a little bit fortunate on the timing, but also definitely they did it how they've said they would. And, I've been racing them with more room, and they gave it to me tonight.
Ross, Larry, Woody, Justice said this is his sweetest victory. How special is it to win in the boss's backyard? I know you'd said you really put emphasis on this race. And also a follow-up, tell us again the history of the watermelon smash.
Yes, sir. Yeah, look, it's hard to beat the first. First win last year at COTA, but Nashville is where the word Trackhouse was formed. Justin moved here with his family. Steve and everybody at Tootsie's, he went to a meeting with them, and he said, believe in me, take a chance on me, and I will make it pay off for you. And Tootsie's was one of the early sponsors of the 99 and 2021. And Justin told me that story, and he still lives here. Ty lives here. Dean lives here with Trackhouse 360. And, it's incredible, the thought that we won here. It's mind-boggling. It's hard to line that up, have a fast car here. But for us, the one team, all 3 years we've been here, with our group, has been capable of running in the top 5, and tonight we put it all together. So, incredible. Yes, so very first, we used to carry watermelons to track when I was mid or back of the pack, but it was more for the publicity because the ag industry is what sponsored me early on. My first races in 2011 were an investment by my family, but the ag industry pitched in and sponsored me, different companies all along the way, all with the goal of just selling more watermelon. And so definitely when we got the 42 Xfinity ride, we thought, let's have it there, let's raise it at Victory Lane. We won the darn second race we ever ran with that 42 car. I held it up. I didn't really know what to do, and I sat it down on the roof, and we were in the media center, and it was bending the glass at Las Vegas in the media center, and somebody in the room asked what I was going to do with it after the track, or somebody asked me to move it because it was bowing. And I think that glass is still bent, by the way. Yeah. And so I said, I don't know, smash it open, need it, I guess. And they asked if they could film it, and we went out to the front stretch. I stood on the wall, and it was born. It was a natural feeling. It's not something that's sponsored, in a sense that I have to do it. I don't need chug points and all that stuff. But it's a Bear Seminus watermelon. It's the watermelon varieties that we grow at our farm. We're done with our crop this year. The Georgia crop is being harvested now. And so for those farmers, it's a great year. It was a great growing season for us in Florida. They're knocking it out of the park, breaking records in Georgia right now. And Yosemite Fresh is harvesting out west in California. So, as I've grown in my racing, I've gotten to meet more farmers, which is just so cool for me because all I wanted to be as a kid was a farmer. Like, I wanted to be like my dad, my uncle, my granddad, and every Chastain back 8 generations before me that were watermelon farmers. And the first Chastain came over a long time ago, and not long after that, they started farming. So, it's all I ever wanted to be as a kid. I wanted to walk in my dad's footsteps and be just like him. And so for my brother to get to run the farm at home, race a little bit, and we get to promote watermelon, it's our family's business. And really the coolest part was after we won that first race, I wasn't sure how the ag industry would honestly think about it because I was wasting a watermelon. And my granddad called me the next morning, and he said, Ross, we will never know how many people in the world saw that watermelon smash. I saw it on my Facebook. And I thought, all right, that's all the affirmation and that's the check mark I needed to keep going, and we've not looked back. Well, we didn't slip. I was worried too.
All right, let's come right back here in the middle, and then we'll go to Dustin Alvino.
Crystal Clay, RacingRefresh.com. There is a song that I can recall by a band named Blind Melon, not because it didn't rain today, but I see parallels between the writer's inspiration for the song and the recent challenges you faced leading up to this win. Since we're in Music City, you also had an inspiring message in your post-race interview and at the finish line. So I wanted to know what song comes to mind for you to express your weekend and the importance of this victory and why.
Well, if you take the words I said walking out the door, it's I believe that we will win. It's a little pit bull action, but that's not very Nashville. He's definitely not here. He's in Miami. I don't know. '90s country music, older country music fan. So more only sing when I'm feeling good, and I'm feeling good tonight. So yeah, I think the stuff on the front stretch is. I believe that. I've thought about that. It's not just to say it, when I have the spotlight. It's a belief that you'll be criticized. I think everybody in this room at some point has been criticized, and except if you want to keep doing it, if you want to be in this room, if you want to be in this sport, you'll keep going. And no matter if it's business or sports or your life, you just wake up and go to work. And they're not all going to be good days. We're going to remember the old days better than they probably were, and just get up and go to work every day and see what happens.
Go ahead, Dustin.
Dustin Lobino, J-Ski Ross. Kind of off Larry's first question, but you have top fives now in all 3 races here. I know you got fast cars, but why do you feel like this track does kind of suit your driving style?
Well, I've heard other people in the sport say it. You cannot drive a slow car fast. I've had fast ones here, but I've had fast ones a lot of places and haven't put together top fives and wins. So I don't know. I don't have a reason because I feel like we could have done this Dover. We could have done this other tracks. It's not just here that we're, this is our bright spot of the year. But yeah, it's shown, and I'm not sad about it. So I'll take it. Thanks.
All right. Do we have any additional questions for Ross? Oh, okay. We'll take one final one from Mark Garrow.
Mark Garrow, PRN. Now that you've won, and obviously you've locked into the playoff, how does this change your season and what you guys now will attempt to do? Because without the win, you have a certain set of scenarios, and now with a win, you've got a new set.
Yeah, I felt confident we were going to make it just based on, everybody looks at the points every week, and based on our gap to the cut line, I felt safe. I felt safe with more winners moving the cut line up the field. It was, it wasn't going to stay where it was at. And just keep acquiring points and bringing fast cars, and we'll go fight for it. Ultimately for us, it's a journey to get there, but it's ultimately all about getting into the playoffs. That's definitely it. So I don't think it doesn't. Well, personally, it doesn't change for me. I'm not going to start as early in the morning as I would have if I lost. Okay, I'm not going to be at the tech center at GM at 8 a.m. with Dan Jansen, but I'm going to get there at some point tomorrow, and I'm going to ask him to come in late with me and work through maybe tomorrow afternoon with me. We're going to go right back to work. We're going to celebrate this throughout the week, but there will still be the blocks of time that I will cut out for the competition and get ready for next week. It's too important to miss out on an opportunity next week because you had good luck, good success this week. We want fast cars like this, and if I don't put in the work, I will not be ready when I pull on track next week.
All right, Ross, thanks for coming in, and congratulations.
Yeah.